Hey, this is Mr. C. Thanks for tuning in to your next math lesson. Once you have your name and the date and 2 for distributive property written, please unpause the video. All right. We should have already checked to see if your homework was complete. Here are your answers. If they are incorrect, please write in your correct answer. And please put the parentheses where they should be for 11 through 14. Once you're done checking, please unpause the video. And again, your completed homework should go in your math folder in your agenda. Do not throw it away. All right, so we're on to the distributive property today. All right, well, we will have vocab notes later, but I did want you to put this in your vocab notes. This is very valuable, this right here. And you can listen to me read up here first. So the distributive property. How can you use the distributive property to evaluate expressions? Remember, to evaluate means that you're going to find what it's equal to. How can you use that to help you find what something's equal to? Well, the distributive property states that multiplying a sum or difference by a number gives the same result as, let's stop there. If you didn't really catch what I just said this, multiplying a sum, which is these two numbers right here added together, by a number, which is a, gives the same result, which means equal, as multiplying each number in the sum or difference by the number and adding or subtracting the product. So they're saying this side is the same as if you took a times b and then added together a times c, instead of just doing a times b plus c. And I would like you to write both of these examples right here in your vocab notes. All right, let's see what's under here. So to give you an example that you don't need to write down, we're going to use the distributive property to break apart a number to find the product for 5 times 27. The whole point of why we're using the distributive property, the whole point of this lesson is to make it easier for you to think about math, or for you to be able to do it in your head. So first, let's try to break 27 apart to use the distributive property. So see how 5, now they broke it to 20 plus 7. I'm thinking, why did they break that apart? Well, it's easier to multiply 5 times 20 than it is to multiply 5 times 27. Mr. C can do 5 times 20 in his head, and I'm sure that you can too. But 5 times 27 is a little harder in my head. So first we're going to break it apart. 5 times 20 and then 5 times 7. See, they broke it up right here. And I'm thinking, how did they get from this step to this step? Well, if you look right back up here, they're just doing exactly what the distributive property said. This side is 5 times 20 plus 7, and that's going to be equal to, if I break the numbers apart, which is right down here, I took the 20, put it here, addition between them, 5 times 7, that's exactly what the distributive property is. So now we can multiply, and it's easier. So 5 times 20 is 100, 5 times 7 is 35, add them together, and my answer is 135. And this is much easier to do in our head than the first problem is. You could also use the distributive property to join numbers together to find 8 times 32 minus 8 times 2. How would I do that? Well, we know we're going to do the distributive property kind of backwards. So we're going to take them from this step over here, and we're going to put them back into this step. We're going to put them into the same parentheses. So this 32 and 2, we're going to put them into the same parentheses with a subtraction in the middle. That would be called joining the factors. And then when you subtract 32 and 2, you get 30, then 8 times 30 is 240. As you might realize, if a number is right next to something else in the parentheses, it means to multiply. Let's go on to vocab notes. What you already wrote right here. All right, you might have received this to tape or paste into your notes. If so, you can do that now. When you're done, you can unpause the video. All right, so now we're on to example 1, and I'm going to try to give you some examples about the distributive property, which is our main focus today. All right, so I'm thinking they have 8 times 7 plus 23, and it's going to be equal to something over here. Notice how we're not really finding an answer for these. We're just trying to think about math and thinking, how can you break up numbers in a logical way? So, all right, they have a 7 here. I noticed they took the 7 here. They put the addition sign in between both of these. They took the number they were multiplying on the outside of the parentheses, and they split it up and they have it twice. And you should have that this is okay to do. This is in our notes. And so I noticed that we're missing the 23. They took the 7 here, and they should put the 23 here. So you should have this written in your notes, and then I'm going to put an arrow and write 23 because that's the number it's missing. So now here's example 1, problem number 2 down here. And 6 times 32. How can I break that apart? Well, 6 is going to be on the outside of the parentheses for both. And I know that I'm going to put a plus here. And I'm thinking if they put a plus here and I see a 2, I'm wondering what plus 2 would be this original 32, because they broke 32 apart. So I know that something plus 2 is 32, so I'm going to put 30 right there. So this is the distributive property. You can make this, and you can break it into this side, and that's using the distributive property. Once you're done writing this, you can unpause the video. All right, so here's example 2, and you are going to try to find what goes here, and you also are going to try to find what could help you to do mental math, use the distributive property, and mental math to evaluate, to find what this would be equal to. So how could you use the distributive property to make this easier to solve? Please pause the video, try to do it by yourself, and when you're ready to check it, unpause. 3, 2, 1. So let's look up here first. How did I know this was 50? Well, I did 8 times 57 minus 8 times 7 is the same as, is equal to 8 times 50. That's because I looked at the numbers in the parentheses. I could make it like this right here, and I know that 57 minus 7 is 50. That was using the distributive property. Now, one of the things you might have done down here is know that 29 is 7 times 20 plus 7 times 9. That's breaking apart 29 into two things that would be easier to solve for mental math. So what would this be equal to? Well, I know that 7 times 20, that is a lot easier than 7 times 29. I know that's 140 plus, what's 7 times 9? 63. And then I would add those together, and I would get 203. When you're done writing this in your notes, you may go on. Unpause the video. 3, 2, 1. All right, so for independent or partners practice, you're at page 41, numbers 19 through 26. For 26, I wanted to give you a sample answer so you kind of know what they're looking for. When you get to 26 and you might be confused, a sample question of what they're asking you to do would be, how much does an order for 45 chilies cost? So when you get to 26, you can come look at this. There are many questions you could ask. There's no correct answer. This is just one of them. And then they want you to put the work here in distributive properties so that you're practicing. All right. Once you're done, you can unpause the video. Here are your answers in 3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you for watching this video. Now you may go to the gas station on Socrative and then Khan Academy. Please try to earn your goal. And you know what? You're awesome.